pleasure to know you're still with us on ATN Blowout. Still talking about the student loan. We had to speak to one of the stakeholders who's actually involved with the students to get to find out what exactly is the problem with those students who have said they are not able to access the student loan, even though that's what we've been told from the government. So from the side of the government, we've been told that, oh, the students have been able to access it. These are the measures that have been put on ground to make sure that it's possible, to make sure that it is seamless. And that's why the schools were also involved, and they were not just, they didn't just tell the students, oh, just apply on your own, to make sure that it's actually students who are applying, and to also stop this corruption talk that some Nigerians had when they heard about the student loan scheme. And it actually said, okay, we still have Chuba with us in the studio. Chuba, thank you so much once again for joining us. Now, the person we actually spoke to has told us that there was an issue with, I think, Chuba, there was an issue with loading.
The issue is simple and straight.
Students are applying at the same time. That could not be seen as one of the problems.
A lot of students are applying. Everybody's opening their WhatsApp page at the same time, but they still access it. Everybody's opening their Facebook page at the same time. They still access it. All of us are paying bills, buying, what's it called? Recharging our meters
at the same
time. It's not a problem now, because it is money that I want to give to the people. Now we want to turn it to metaphysics, where it will be so spiritual and complicated. What we are saying is this: we need a set of leaders that will be responsible enough to stand and say this is what it ought to be, and it has to come from the head. And so far so good. I make bold to say that what we have seen and what we have today, it will only take a miracle for a rotten tree to give right fruit.
We're looking at some of the things that the federal government has done, especially lately. We're looking at the grants that we're giving, the 50,000 naira grants. We're also looking at the 50,000 naira per household that was announced recently that will be shared amongst Nigerians. We're also looking at the loans and the grants that they said are given to business owners, both small and medium and large scale business owners, a particular amount for large scale, a particular amount for small scale business owners. Now for the grants, I know that some Nigerians have said they've not been able to apply, but we have had a guest here in the studio, Chuba, who told us that when that grant actually, when the news was everywhere, the 50,000 naira grant, I don't know if you knew about that. When the news was everywhere and he applied, he told Nigerians, and a lot of Nigerians did not believe, you know this thing of us not believing our government. A lot of Nigerians did not believe until he got his money. And he took a screenshot of that and posted, oh, look at, now everybody started screaming, oh, how do I apply, how do I apply? And this is just me trying to tell you that you're looking at the previous system and how they have done things before. So when new things are introduced, don't you think we should take a critical look at the new process instead of just judging by, okay, what did we do in 2020? Did it work out?
A child that has been burnt by fire.
Looking
now,
at the process critically.
I do not completely agree that we're not looking at the process critically, because I must make bold to say here that I've applied for grants. I'm expecting.
How long has it been?
Savvy. It's gone on to a year now. Since the
what's supposed to be the duration according to what you were told when you applied?
For the application, it's supposed to be 3 months. Within 3 months, I should get my grant, and we are still where it is, and we are still hopeful, because we still keep receiving 1 or 2 prompters because of mails to say, okay, something is coming up. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is this: for the student loan, and for many students who have reached out to the unemployed leadership and student leadership and have made their cries very public. The problem they've said they've encountered most often, they say that they are unable to upload. You now get to a point where the thing starts loading forever. But when you want to buy credit, when you want to load card, it does not upload forever. When you want to buy credit for power in your house, it does not upload forever. Now that it has come to grant, the same system cannot make it work. We have seen a system, we were in this country, when a person came to the studio and was saying, the guy at the top has the original website. That's to say, is there a possibility that there is a website for the guys at the top and their cronies? Because the sincerity of government has been questioned again and again. And this is what it is. Nigerians do not trust and believe their government. And if government wants to do anything that should be tangible, government cannot even do those tangible things, because the person that have been saddled the responsibility of to sit in the offices and in positions of power have all been sabotaged. They are all corrupt persons. If you now say today, ask yourself, if we now say when we were receiving, yesterday we started receiving grants and talking about loans. Ask yourself, when the former administration was around, when the former administration talked about palliative, talked about student, children feeding and all of that, we saw the humongous amount of money that was siphoned from that scheme. Because when you now come to this region, some people will come out and show on news, they say we receive money, we receive money. Some of the women will come back to tell you again that the money that they were giving, at the end of the day, the money was collected back. This was what was given to us.
Really?
Listen.
So they were giving money?
The money that were given to them to snap picture and to make news, at the end of the day was retrieved. This is the country we have found ourselves. These are the realities that we have found, we've seen. And that is why we talk about financial agencies fighting corruption and all. You see people like us that are by mercy, not by anybody, not by you are too smart or you work too much. By mercy of God's providence and grace, we are opportunity to talk, speak with people. People have we have lived our life to a level that people don't believe us. They now give us information and call us to let us know issues. On this note, trust me, government has not done.
When you started talking about the student loan now, Chuba, you said it's a good initiative, but the process with accessing it is the problem.
Listen, don't misquote me.
Okay, well,
I did not say it's entirely a good initiative.
Okay, not entirely.
Because why? First of all,
yes,
my quote is this.
Good initiative or not?
For me, it's a bad initiative.
It's a bad initiative.
Why do I call
the loan itself?
Yes, why do I call it a bad initiative? I call it a bad initiative because students, the phrase student, simply signifies that somebody is attached to an institution. And what is most important is that if the institution itself was credible enough, properly regulated, the students might not even in any form require loan to pay fees, firstly.
I think you just changed your grounds on this now.
Okay,
but go on. No, it's a new ground.
No,
so we're not
listen,
going to we're okay with the new ground.
No, the beauty
because when you started your explanation,
yeah,
you said this student loan is not. I'm trying
to a normal, intelligent, or a supposed educated person that can read and write, that a mechanical engineer does not even have an idea of what a lathe machine is. That's where I started from. Because I told you that when we talk about a student loan, to what end is it really, what does it really intend to achieve? Now you see some schools, only acceptance fee is as high as 100,000 naira. And we have a government, for the past how many years, our minimum wage is still paying at 30,000 naira. Some states are still owing. They have not been able to meet up. Now you come up with the student's loan with an humongous employment, what's it called? Network on ground. Men 15, 20 years. I've never worked. Everybody, look, we can keep trying to applaud ourselves.
The money should be channeled to the school system.
The money should,
the students.
Listen, the money should
like
be channeled. Money should be channeled and guided, because we have seen money channeled to supposed appropriate quotas and they have disappeared. It is in this country we have seen snakes swallow money, monkeys swallow money, elephants will come and swallow money, and at the end of the day, those cases will just go into thin air like nothing happened before. So it's not about just saying. What we're saying now is we need leaders who have a conscience, leaders who are connected to the. I am saying this because a point will come. You saw what happened in Uniben last week. You saw it. We will get to a point where there will be an elastic limit. It will have a spiral effect. One issue will have a spiral.
Down to the minimum wage now. Looking at the whole back and forth, the conversation between the federal government, Labour, and even Nigerians now, the Tripartite Committee and all of that has been on. What do you think this delay is about?
I think the delay is all about elections. Crazy if you've not had that before, but I'm just telling you because this is what we do. I think it's all about elections. We have political leaders. All our leaders are not born, they are not leaders by nature to help Nigeria grow. They are leaders by circumstances, and they are all taking undue advantage of the Nigerian people. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this on the grounds that there is no justification that Mr. President walks up to the podium on May 29th, removed subsidy, and Labour kept quiet in the name of, first and foremost, subsidy in itself. The former president and I take the same stand. When the former president have been dilly-dallying. Listen, we are playing with fire.
It's for election. What do you mean?
I say it's for election because, take it from me, today, this is 2024. By 2025, we'll still be talking about this thing. Once election jingles, once election process want to commence, the token that we want to add to the minimum wage will be added to score cheap political gains. And the gullible Nigerians, I told you, we are a conquered people, almost a conquered people. We are almost always kowtowing to our leaders that we supposedly should have elected and took a decision. Let us not get to that point where Kenya got to. Let's not get to the point where other nations have got to. And that's what I tell Nigerian leaders. It should be important that the Nigerian leaders do what they can to ensure that the Nigerians are prioritized in their plans. Because as it is today, it is too painful and shameful that Nigeria as a country, we are talking about a minimum wage of 30,000 naira up until now, after a year plus. We are talking about the same minimum wage, even from the President Muhammadu Buhari tenure, with all the way they bastardized the economy. Nothing was added to it. All the congresses were quiet. They went to limbo. They were not in existence. Even now, they are all lying in bed playing the same play. We are looking at a system where we are pretending. Listen, ask yourself, who is a core member? A core member is a person that has gone through the Nigerian education process, spent years upon years, and at the end of the day, what you give a core member as a take-home cannot even fetch a core member a bag of rice in our present Nigeria, cannot fetch a core member a pocket of tomato in our present Nigeria, and we are playing with it and thinking, and we say we want to fight corruption. What makes corruption fister?
Some people feel like what the Labour started with, the whole agitation and everything, some people feel like they're not seeing it anymore. The Labour's now dragging their feet. Are you also one of those people?
Labour did not start anything. I am a public affairs
and the amount Nigeria lost that day.
I am a public analyst. I will do my best to speak from the stand of the people, and that is why I thank God for His grace, for where He makes progress. I'm not in their generality in support. Say the people gave you all their support. One or two politicians or one or two scheming brought you there. There's always going to be a nefarious interest somewhere. Now ask yourself, what is the strike Labour went to?
So you think it was all just charade?
I don't think it. I'm telling you that it was a charade. Are you not saying that it was a charade? Why are you thinking what you know? It was a charade because the kind of vigor with which Labour came out for this strike, and the Nigerian people gave Labour their support to stay back. We were thinking that Labour should have, look, the Labour Congress chairman and all, the true posterity of a time to write their name.
And they no longer believed in the Labour Union. So immediately this happened, Nigerians felt like, oh, maybe they are coming up again, and this is another time for us to give them an opportunity for us to get to believe them. But like you said, they threw it all away.
See,
that's what some people think.
It is not, listen, I make bold to say this is my opinion, and the opinion of those that believe and respect me.
Of course.
Now they threw it away. It's not what we are thinking, it's what we have come to know. Do you know Nigerians were believing that by this strike, Labour should have been able to set this trajectory right? How do we justify that somebody sits in the yellow chamber in the comfort of a very, very luxurious house and receives 26, 27, 30 million a month, and Nigerian workers are going home with any form of English or excuse because you're in government? We are talking about a government that is going to use over 15 billion to renovate the vice president's apartment. We're talking about a country that's talking about a private jet for a president, another private jet for a president at this point in time. We're talking about listen to me, I'm going somewhere. Every month, at the end of every month, everybody run to the federal government to share money. So now we're talking about governors who sit in the comfort of their offices.
That's federal allocation is what you're talking about.
We're talking about governors who sit in the comfort of their offices. What is their take-home? What is their take-home? Some of them don't even have, in Nigeria today, we don't even know what is forgery. We don't know where to school, we don't go to school. Upon that strength, so people get up to 60, 500 aids just to do the work of ML.
So what are you suggesting?
Listen to me.
They should let go of their aids?
You say what? You ask the question, just be clear so that people can hear you clearly. People need to hear you clearly. So listen to me. So people don't think I'm ranting. We can continue to run the people amok like they are doing now. I can assure you, it's just a question of time.
Let's look at ASU now. That's another, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have said that the strike is not imminent if only the federal government will implement the agreement that has 2 weeks. So they're giving them 14 days to implement the agreement. Professor Emmanuel Sodeke, the president of ASU, of the agreement that was reached with the federal government. And the Minister of Education, Professor Tahiri Maman, on June 26, invited the union to a meeting to deliberate on the lingering issues affecting the universities, and said that some of the demands included the non-implementation of the 2009 renegotiated agreement. And he said the agreements had lingered for over 6 years and the government nothing has been done about it. On the issue of revitalization fund, he said that they agreed on the needs assessment report to raise 200 billion naira yearly for 5 years, and since 2013 only one has been paid. We need revitalization fund to upgrade our universities to standard so that we can be having students and lecturers from outside the country. So when we go back to the standard of the university now, I have a particular guest who keeps pointing at ASU. Why are they asking for money? Look at our educational system. They want the government to fund a moribund system, an outdated curriculum. And that's what some people actually think. But looking at the demands now, the 2009 agreement, you would notice that all of the strikes that ASU have gone for ever since 2009 is the same, for the same reason, for the same things that were signed in that agreement. It simply means that if that agreement has been met, most of the strikes that ASU have had since after that time, we would not have had them. And all of the ripple effects that we have had after the strike would not have been there.
Nigerian schools are almost a failed system, and that is why you see that almost all legislators, including the ones that we call our bosses, the health and educational tourism of public office thing, and because the party government thing, they have all realized that they are not doing enough. And because they are not doing enough, we have a system whereby some people are still professors of courses that are already updated, obsolete courses. Because the person is a professor, he has got prodigies in the system. The person does not want to. Where would they take the person to? They don't have where to take the person to. So the person is already raising prodigies, and the prodigies, where would they put those ones into? The system is so difficult to be rejigged. That's why I'm telling you of leaders.
It's difficult for us to rejig the system.
Yes, because listen, before you became a professor, your friend, you were a lecturer, your friend was maybe a lecturer too, or your friend was in the public service in one place or the other. And your friend rose to the office of the governor, you are risen to the office of a professor, and at the end of the day, you come out to come and vet his election and all. Such friend, because it's a party government, leaders who are not visionaries, who are not visionary in any way, who are not sincere to the people, we cannot in sincerity say, these courses are outdated. Let's structure something new. You talked about obsolete curriculums. I studied information management technology. I made both on national television. I went to as far as Yola to ensure to see to what was the curriculum that they were using there, to Maiduguri to see what the curriculum they were using there. Because when Nigerian political office holders have had their work, even professors, VCs, all their kids are not in Nigeria schooling. They are all outside. Now, the last statistics we were given last year that over $1 billion is fleeing Nigeria annually on education, because people have to pay their fees of their works out there. The truth remains that where did we get it wrong? And where we got it wrong is simple. We got it wrong with bad leadership. And the bad leadership, because it's an hydra monster, it has in all its form and facets affected virtually every other thing. In that, as we speak to you today, we have bad leadership in almost all the sectors, if not all the sectors. Is it the judiciary we're talking about? As we speak now, you and I, with all the clarity of what we call the laws and the acts, you and I cannot categorically say what defection of a political party from a political party is. You and I cannot categorically say what makes somebody a member of a political party. We don't know it. As we speak today, by the virtue of judicial precedents and judgments, we cannot say who is what's it called. We cannot even ascertain who went to school and who did not go to school. We cannot even ascertain what the meaning of the word forgery is, even by the dictionary standard, because of the kind of country we find ourselves. So for me, ASU is just another. ASU is just it's another aspect, just making noises. For me, with all due respect, listen to me. I have been able to say that by the grace of God, I owe nobody an apology. I'm speaking from the viewpoint of the people by virtue of grace and opportunity to be in this position to speak to people that people can hear. Listen and listen very clearly. We have a system that have not been able to beat our hands on our chest to say we are civil engineers, and we have brought our civil engineers that we can beat our hands to say these civil engineers are astute. How many professors of electricity do we have? Electrical engineering. How many professors of electrical engineering? And up to date, we cannot even generate more than 4,000 megawatts of power. As we speak today, other countries are using fish. They say electric fish. In some countries, the big fish they are using to generate power that they are using in their country. Some are using just sunlight that they do not even have to the level that we have in Nigeria. We are talking about a country this big. We are talking, hey, some guy this, some guy that. We are talking about agriculture this, with all our arid land and the fertility of the land. Nothing is coming out of it. Listen to me. We are getting there, where everybody gets, even the professors, the politicians, and the people become at the same point and get together.
When it has to do with the outdated curriculum, we're holding everybody responsible, both the professors, the government, and everybody. But let's not forget that the agreement, the lecturers have been clamoring for this same thing. It's in the agreement.
I want to ask you a very simple question. I might not be privileged to all the information, and that is why when we make statements of this nature with this kind of veracity, we expect ASU and other stakeholders to be able to respond intelligently, not to come back and start insulting people. The truth is, now, how do I mean? How have you structured yourself? I've been to universities where I see buildings that are embarrassing. I'm not talking about curriculum now. I'm talking about buildings that are embarrassing. Hostels. And some of them, hostels that are in shambles. They're like pit holes. They're like, I mean, I don't know the right phrase to express them. Now we're talking about a system where you are teaching people as a professor with an education that you got in the 60s. Today, which Nigerian school can beat her hand on her chest and say they are professors of robotics? They are professors of artificial intelligence. Are you pretending that you are not seeing where the world is going to, or are you pretending that you don't know what is transpiring now? And in the midst of all of this, you see there people tell you that the ASU, you now ask yourself, what do they really want? The money is being generated revenue of ASU. Who is even monitoring it? What and where and how is it being expended?
All right, all of these things will be discussed on other episodes of Blowout, where we'll have like Chuba has said, the right people come tell us what is really going on and answer all of these questions that Chuba has actually asked. But let's look at some Nigerians who have blasted the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections. That's Peter Obi, for objecting President Bola Tinubu's proposal to procure a new presidential jet for himself and his vice president, Kashim Shettima. Now, Tinubu had recently informed the National Assembly that the presidency would require a new jet to perform its functions optimally, as according to him, the lifespan of the existing jets being used by the presidency has greatly deteriorated, and so much that it could crash on the air and kill the president while on transit for a national assignment. So Tinubu's proposal elicited some negative reactions from eminent Nigerians, including Peter Obi, who made this point. And he actually argued that Nigerians cannot be dying of hunger, and you're talking about getting a private jet for the president in billions of naira to procure a new one. Now, from one foreign... So he actually said that, why don't you sell our jets that we have, the ones that you said cannot be used right now, why don't you sell them and then use the proceeds from that to procure a new one? Well, we have this particular person who has come out to say, to actually oppose the opinion or the view of Peter Obi, saying, why don't you look at the reasons that the president has actually stated? We have limited time to really go into all the details of this particular story, but your thoughts with the few minutes we have.
Very, very clearly and very straightforwardly. I think I stand with Peter Obi and a lot of Nigerians who believe that it's a waste of funds, lack of knowing priority, not being able to prioritize the right things. The truth cannot be overemphasized. Every Nigerian that says that the president was correct on this matter, I don't know. I think we all have to be subjected to some medical checks. Because whether we accept it or not, the truth remains what it is. We are talking about a minimum wage that is yet to be paid. The former president, before coming to office, in one of his campaigns, he said Nigeria had 11 jets for the presidency. 11. He said, what are they doing with 11 jets? Once he comes, he's going to sell them off. When he came, he did not sell one. That's to tell you that there are powers and people that are running this country against what we see.
But we know that our jets were put on sale.
Our jets were put on sale. Now, the military came out the military came out about 2 weeks ago, made a very alarming statement saying that the Ministry of Aviation put out a jet on sale, and the day they put out the jet on sale, the military showed that asked why was the jet going to put on sale. They said they were not using it, and the military showed interest.